Welcome, everyone. We're up to episode 6, Chilling After Dark. My name's Anthony. I'm with an awesome gentleman from Texas, Mr. Paul Hughbanks. How are you, my friend?
Oh, good. Everything's great. I'm glad to be on your show.
Great to have you on. So, obviously, you were, from what I can see in the back, you were in the military.
Yeah.
I know that's American, but thanks for your service anyway. All the armed forces are very important. Do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown about, obviously, how you transitioned from there to getting into film?
Sure. Well, it's really kind of a crazy story, but I knew what I wanted to do really early in my life. Like a lot of people, they change their minds every day, but I was always a big movie hound, and I remember watching San Iwo Jima, and this is going to be crazy because the memory is so big in my head. I watched it. It was like 1969. I watched John Wayne hit the beach. I was like, "Oh my God, that's what I'm going to do." Movies were the other thing. I was just a beautiful love, but with Hollywood, it was never going to happen. It's one of those deals. So I was like, I always wanted to go in the military. But anyway, went in the military, served, and did 25 years in there. And
wow,
when it's kind of crazy because you're almost an actor in the military when you're an NCO or sergeants and all that. You got to have personality. You got to have whatever. So I took a bunch of people that I knew in the movies to give me that personality. It's kind of crazy. And then I shook it all up. Boom. John Wayne, Charles Bronson, and Steve McQueen came out. So that's what I based my career on. And then when I retired,
yeah, right.
I wanted to meet some people, at these film fests. I'd never gone to one. Anyway, my wife said, "Hey, we're going to go to this thing called Texas Frightmare." And I didn't know what it was, but there was an actor there. I said, "I want to meet this guy. That'll be so great." Well, we went. And that was 18 years ago, and I got the bug, bro. I got the bug. Started meeting people. I said, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
But it was a long pause. I didn't know nothing about the indie thing, but through going to all these shows every year, we kind of became like a staple to the shows because we were there every year. And we met people, and one thing led to another. And, bro, here I am. I'm making movies. It's a dream come true. True dream.
Yeah. It's So, what rank did you end up getting to in the military?
I was an E6. I was a staff sergeant, and that was about that. I could have gone higher, but I was a dinosaur in a modern army, and I didn't get in trouble. It's just that my way of dealing with things was the old way, and new guys were like, "Oh, you can't do that." It's like, whatever. Anyway, I retired. I honorably got my thing. I didn't get in much trouble, but getting enough trouble. But
so is that like cons that you go to, or you just went? Because we have here we have like Supernova and Comic-Con. That's about all we have. So we have like international actors and stuff come over and things. But from when I was in America making Aversion, even now, they just seem to have cons every couple of months, like Day of the Dead and a few other ones, and ones we don't have here. So do you go to a lot of the cons, or do you just go to certain events that you like?
Well, we went to Texas Frightmare, and this is a funny thing. Like I said, I wanted to meet one of the actors. It was like from Friday the 13th. I was like, wow, I'll get to meet this guy. Well, they had a thing when I first went up there. I was freshly retired from the military. So I was trying to figure out the civilian world. Anyway, we pull into this parking lot, and back then they had this thing called the zombie walk. When we were pulling in the parking lot, I looked at my wife and said, "What the hell did you get me into?" They're doing this. And I was like, "Get me the hell out of here. These people are freaks." Well, she refused to turn around. And we went, but they, I judged the book by its cover. These folks were the kindest, greatest people I have ever met. I was like, okay, this is their element. It was not my element at the time, but we went in, and God, we've been, like I said, 18 years. We've been going to all of them, Comic-Con, all of it. I love it.
And have you been on a film set?
Oh yeah, quite a few. Believe it or not, and right after 9/11, I was still in the military. I was stationed at Fort Hood here in Texas. The BBC came over. They were doing a TV program called Heavy Metal on military equipment and everything else, and they needed somebody that was a historian. I'm a big historian on World War II and the Vietnam War. So they said, hey, man, we got something up your alley. These guys need somebody to show them how things were done. So I did 2 episodes of a TV show, Heavy Metal. I got, to do my little acting thing. I was a pilot on a helicopter for the Vietnam one and a crew member for the Korean one, the F-86F. Anyway, that solidified what I, getting into the film thing. And I've been on other movie sets, of course, also, but nothing to what I'm doing now. Nothing.
So do you prefer the acting side or being on the other side of the camera? Because I know a lot of people, they don't mind acting, but when they get to whether it's camera, sound, whatever, they prefer the other side. Well,
I'm not an actor. I pretend to be one. My personality. They say, "Oh my God, you would be great." So I'm learning that trade through all these other fine folks that I've met through the filming. And yes, my face will be seen in, I think, about 10. But right now I'm on the missing posters and things like that. But when it comes to the, I'm crawl, walk, run. But my big acting debut will be in the Veil of Silence when I go over to England. We're doing the trilogy over there with Mike Davies. And, oh, God, I hope and pray, excuse me, that I do well. But I'm producer on that, and it's going to be fun.
Well, I'll be seeing you there because I'm also involved in that, so...
Yes. I see your name all the time, and that's why I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you had this kind of a podcast."
Mm-hmm. I think I've got a little. I think I've got a bit of a role in it as well, and I'm on the producing side as well. So it's going to be an interesting trip. Like I said, I was in the US in February in St. Louis making my feature. Now I'm going over for Mike. So
it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast, man.
I won't be there for the trilogies. I'll only be there for the Veil of Silence, but that's still going to be an experience. I'll be able to say I've worked in the UK then, so it's going to be pretty good. The indie scene's an interesting one. It's you either got to go out and make it yourself, or you sort of die in a hole, because really relying on other people and investors and that sort of is not really.
It's not a good business
relevant to an extent. I mean, here, no, and here in Australia or Perth, especially where I am, like even when we run crowdfunders, it's virtually non-existent. I've run a couple. That's why it took so long to make my film. It took me 5 years from when it won the award, because I couldn't get any investment, and I ended up meeting Christina through another podcast that I did with some other people, and sent her the script, and from there we started putting it together, and we made enough on the crowdfunder to get it made, so now it's in post-production. And people say to me, well, why don't you make a mirror? I said, I can, but it all has to be mostly deferred payment if you want to be paid. Sometimes you got to take a chance and do it. And for me, I'm happy to make short films here, but I feel like feature films will have to be overseas, because that's where the funding and the support comes from. So I know February I've got Veil of Silence. October, I think I'm back. I'm in Buffalo with Mike again, making another one.
Yes.
Pretty sure if that
Ash to Ash, yep. I'll be there for that too.
That's the one. Yep. And then I'm hoping maybe the new one that I'm having written at the moment, I might try and make that while I'm there as well. So there could be a spot for you too in that.
Send it, my friends.
I've got the first 99 pages. I'm just waiting for the last couple of scenes, and then it's only the first draft. Then we'll go through and try and refine it a little bit. It's quite interesting. It's a paranormal sort of meets, I don't know, paranormal investigators go to check out an urban legend and accidentally bring it to life, essentially. So that's
you got your stuff together, man. And I understand your backing, but I'll do what I can to help you out.
That's fine,
obviously.
Yeah. And so what at the moment, besides the Fractured Veil, whether it's on a contribution side or producing side, what projects are you involved with at the moment?
All right. This all really started with, I never heard of Indigo or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. I got a bunch. I started small, because they said go to Indigo, and I was like, what the heck is that anyway? And we investigated, and I met a guy named Phil Herman. I don't know if you know that name.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that guy, I met him, through everything, and we became friends. And he's really a wonderful guy. I mean, he kept me, because if you're new, you could fall into those pitfalls, people promise you the world, nothing. Well, this guy is so honest. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I latched onto him for about 6 movies, just to start getting my name out there. And it really happened by accident. I said, we could make some, maybe not become millionaires, because I don't want to be a millionaire. I said, but this is really fun. We could start, our own little business and start backing smaller films and then work from there. Because I'm on the tail end. I don't get no money back till it's sold. Because I haven't made a dime in 18 years. So this is my money. I don't gamble with other people's money.
No.
We're not rich, but, I save. I'm pretty good with saving, and if I like it, I back it, and it's grown into this behemoth.
So and that's one thing. So I try to back what I can, but the exchange rate from Australian dollars to US dollars is crazy. So, some of the projects I try to back, if it's a $30 US perk, it's nearly $60 here. So I've got to pick and choose what I can back. But I try to back what I can. And, a lot of people say to me, oh, how do I get a producer credit? I said, jump onto Indiegogo, check out a project you like, whether it's assistant producer, co-producer, whatever. Just pick up one of the producer perks. You don't physically have to be on set. I know people that have got 30-odd producer credits just from backing other films. And it also helps when you're on IMDb. If people go on there and look at you, they say, oh, this guy's done all these films, but you haven't physically been there. And I understand, people don't like a lot of the crowdfunding stuff. They don't want to get perks, but you don't have to. You can just back without taking a perk as well. But for me, I feel that with the indie scene, especially here, that crowdfunding seems to be the way that it's going to be maybe shifting to, because there's not a lot of private investors that have the money to just throw around 10, 20, 30 grand, maybe 1,000, 2,000 here and there. I definitely think that I think mainly crowdfunding is going to be the way to go. But again, it all comes down to getting it out there, getting it known, and it comes down to people sharing. You don't even have to contribute; just share. Share helps so much as well. Because like I've met you now, and before I met you and before I met Christina, I only had the Perth filmmaking community page that I have, which got nearly 7,000 members, but that's only here. So now that I've met Christina, yourself, I've got, and there's Mike and another guy, Jason, Wright in the UK as well.
Yeah, Jason, love him.
Yeah, I want to work with him too. And so now my net's cast so much wider that there's people that share and are interested and that sort of thing. And I try to, like I said, I try to help out and back what I can. Well, I've actually got some stuff from Jason as well.
Yeah, I got this one. I'm doing something with Jason.
I got the mannequin.
Yes, I wanted to be in on that, but
because I took the perk. It says starring, and it's got my name. So did that, and I've got a copy of the script as well. So just a few little perks like that, just to help out. But So you're in? Are you in Jacker 3, or are you just producing that?
I'm an executive producer on that.
Nice.
And
So what's the like the general plot of that film?
It's actually the third part. I had to go watch the first two parts from Phil and to see, what was going on. Now, physically, I won't be on this set, but I was backing Phil so much with Unearthed and everything else. I fell in love with the story. I said, oh my God, he's doing this. But this Jacker 3, Mike Davies and I, we're actually going to have our logo, since we support each other, in the triangle. We're actually having our business logo with Phil Herman's in our future films with Phil. And vice versa, when Phil does something with us, he'll have his in. So, I mean, it's kind of really growing.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to find, is he still running the campaign, or has it finished?
That one's finished. There's a lot of filming he's done. He's in post right now. But Phil, he's like a map. He's spread out all over the place. I don't know how he juggles what he does. I mean, he pumps them out. And if he tells you he's going to do something, brother, that is in the mail. It is there. He takes good care of his people.
And that's a big thing, if you like, especially even just delivering on perks and stuff. If you say you're going to do something, you've got to do it. Otherwise, the industry's so small and so many people know each other that you soon won't have much of a reputation or be able to do anything. I mean, I've only been doing this for properly about 2 or 3 years, not full time, just out on my own. And I've got a circle here of people that I can call on or I can use. Like one of the actors that's in Aversion, he flew over with me to America to play the professor because I didn't want anyone else to do it. So, and the guy that's editing, he was going to be the director, but it didn't work out. So he's still involved editing. And so I've got a very small group of people that I know that I can use. And for me, that's good because I know little bits about a lot of stuff on the film set, but I tend to surround myself with people that are smart or know more than me. So then if I need something, I just draw on them and they're happy to help out. And I help them if they want a hand on set. I don't, if it's I'll do it unpaid because I just like to get the experience of different stuff that's going on, Yeah,
and that's me, and I'm brutally honest. And with indie, you have to be a salesman. Bro, I am the worst salesman on planet Earth. You got to sell yourself, and I get very self-conscious. It sounds like you're almost a panhandler or a beggar, and so I had to, through talking with the people that have been doing this for years, they said, just swallow it. He said, yes, you're begging, but it's how it's done, So I had to get used to that. So I started selling like your product, even if I was not involved in yours, bro, I'll push it. So I'm practicing on how to sell a product.
And appreciate that because, the further the reach it gets to, the more people are saying. I mean, it's going to be a dual screening, so we're going to show it here, obviously, and it's going to be shown in the States because that's where it was filmed as well. So it's going to be hitting dual audiences, and I'm trying to tie up a screening in New Zealand and a couple other places. But yeah, it's and chatting to people like yourself and just meeting people like yourself, it's good because then you get to know someone. So if you do end up going, say, to Texas or somewhere else, and you're like, do you want to catch up? Do you want to do this? Whether it's film or not, it's just good to know people somewhere else. And nearly everybody has been really nice, really supportive. And when I messaged you and started chatting to you, it was like, I've got to get this guy on because he's doing the same stuff we're all doing. And obviously, like you said in your other video, you're not a millionaire. You're not going to, and we're not going to set the world on fire. But we're gonna do the best we can, and I look at it as people that don't create films are very quick to they call them keyboard It's rapid shit. And it's like, well, I give kudos to anyone that makes a film, regardless of what it looks like, how good it is, short film, whatever it is, because it's not an easy process, as you know yourself. And one of the hardest parts is the money. Even like the short film I'm making in August, it's only a weekend, but I've got to supply catering. I'm paying a guy to do a couple of special effects, things like that, and I don't mind doing it. But on a bigger scale, that's when you have to bring in things like crowdfunders and stuff, because you can't do. Well, I can't do 20, 30 grand on my own. I try to people to help out. And one of the big things I noticed different here to over there and the UK was we had people pay for roles to be on the film. So we had extras that were security guards and that who bought the actual role, pay for the role. Here, they don't do that. They're like, why should we pay to be in a film? I'm like, well, we got catering, we got, makeup, whatever it is. They just don't understand how that works here, because here it's more of just like a hobby. So that's where we got quite a bit of the money from as well, was like people paying to be the doctor, to do this, to do that. And that's why over there I found it so much, not so much easier, but it works a lot more professionally over there, because people are doing it part-time, or some are even doing it full-time, and they put everything into it, They're not there just to piss fart around.
I do it full-time now, but I have the luxury of being retired from the military. If I was not retired from, regardless of what job, this would be 24 hours a day I'd be working on something. And there's guys out there that do that. And I don't know. I mean, I did it in the military, because sometimes you'd go 72 hours without sleep. But making a film and working, and you're 100% in both, I don't know how they survive. How they're not a zombie when they're doing interviews.
Yeah. So obviously it's 7:15 at night here on a Wednesday. So I've been on calls with people at 3 a.m. here, which has been 7 a.m. in America, but I don't care, because sometimes it's just those couple of calls that you make that will lead you to something else. And I know, like the Mahal brothers, Michael's passed away now, unfortunately, but Michael said it's a full-time job, crowdfunding as well. And that's all he used to do every day, wake up and I think getting involved at your level, like obviously you're with Mike and Phil now. I'm actually getting to the stage where I'm looking at maybe possibly teaming up with any other individuals that are interested as well, because it does get a lot. Like I've got Aversion's in post-production. I've got the Curse coming through. Christina, we're going to be doing a horror on Goldilocks and the Three Bears, because it's in the public domain. And then the director of the short film I'm doing said he's got a feature he wants me to look at as well. So I've got already nearly 5. And there's a guy in America who wants me to do a Bigfoot film. So I've already got 5 films slated, but I can't do it all on my own with my own little production company. So I do need to. I'm trying to register a production company in the States, but I need to have someone there I can register it through. So I'm trying to get another production company or little one on board that might want to, a bit like you do, team up and create some films, because I've got at least another 4 or 5 in the pipeline that, once they're written up, will be getting made for sure.
Well, if you don't have my email, I will send you my email. Send me everything you got, and I will see, where I can help you, even with contacts here in the States, every little bit counts. It's like church, you go to church, if you go to church, but when you go to church, you go for a reason, but there's so many people in that church, lawyers, doctors, cops, you meet these people, and Indy is, I didn't find any prima donnas in this business, in this thing. It's like when you see big Hollywood, there's nothing like that in Indy. I mean, these people are pure. I'm sure you got your jerks here and there. I mean, it's life, but it's not an abundance like I thought I wanted Hollywood. I mean, if it goes that way, but I love Indy. I just fell in love with it, and I like the way it rolls. I really love the way Indy rolls, and I'm going to be doing this till I probably die. And
like you're saying, I think the other big difference between Hollywood and Indy is there's always films coming out. So like after I did Aversion, some of the actors left after they felt straight onto other ones, and every month or every couple of weeks they're filming something, and there's always indie films coming out, whether it's on Tubi or whatever it is. Whereas if you're doing Hollywood, you got maybe once a year or every 6 months you might get on one project. And that, like the Asylum, they were a couple of guys I think from big studios formed the Asylum. They make Sharknado, things like that. But
yeah,
a lot of the actors there, like Richard Greco, Ian Ziering, they might make 2 or 3 films a year.
Yeah,
and they make a living from that instead of waiting to try and get one big one in Hollywood. So even if they only get 150 grand a film, that's still making a living for them. And I think even if you don't, like you said, make all your money back or make millions, just knowing the fact that you can turn out the content, and obviously the what do they say, the law of averages, you are going to eventually make something. So
of course,
and get a return. So like. And the best genre that we've looked at is the horror genre. So because there's so many subgenres, even my brother-in-law, he put a little bit into the crowdfunder. I think he's going to be investing soon, because he looked at it and he spoke to some people and they said, yes, the horror genre is the one that you have the best chance of an ROI, because you've got supernatural, you've got thriller, you've got paranormal, you've got found footage. Yeah. There's so many subgenres within it, sci-fi.
Yeah.
That people, some people said they weren't interested. Sorry, some people saying they weren't interested in Aversion, which is about phobias, but they're interested in the paranormal. So, there's all different ones that people are interested in, and I think that's what keeps it fresh and interesting.
And now they're putting history inside the stuff, where they use where it's all factual, but like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
All the history. I mean, I just loved it. I was like, oh my God, everyone's like, oh, this movie sucks, whatever. I was like, you people are insane. It was a learning thing. And it made it like Abe could have done this. He could have slew friggin' vampires.
Oh, that's right. And I think the reason people say they suck is because they're used to seeing Hollywood-grade films, and they're used to watching Netflix and going to cinemas, whereas I watch a lot of Tubi, because obviously being in the indie space, that's where a lot of the films are. And there are films on there that you look at and you're like, okay, well, we could probably make better, but they've made it and they might be getting a small return. So a lot of the people that do criticize are ones that are used to seeing bigger budgets. But as more films start getting promoted and Tubi's starting to move up towards gaining ground on Netflix, it's I think the more people that can shift to that sort of genre or that sort of streaming platform, and that mainly has horror on. There are a few other genres, but
yeah,
that's what I watch Netflix with the wife because she's Filipino, watches a lot of stuff like foreign language films, which if I'm chilling on the couch I watch that, but when she's not here then I just binge Tubi most of the time. I know A Hard Place has just come out, but I haven't got it here yet in Australia, and a friend of mine in the States made one called The Conjuring Tapes, which is on there, but I haven't got that here yet either. So if you get a chance to watch The Conjuring Tapes, a friend of mine from Australia who lives in the States made that. They made it on $5,000 all up with the editing and everything.
Wow, I will.
And then
A Hard Place is very good. Very good film. I was part of that. I was a producer on that.
Okay.
It was not on the scene, on the set or nothing like that. But that was one of the earlier ones when things were really starting to pick up. And I think from there, since things popped up, my name came out more. Like I said, it's not about being famous or making my millions. I was in the Army for 25 years. I made zero money. I did it because I loved it. I really loved it, and I love indie. I don't look at it as, oh, you're wasting your money, you're not getting your total thing back. Well, folks, I don't live just on money. I'm taking care of myself first. But this is mine. This is my love. You go out there and collect your Hummels or whatever the hell you do. I'm doing this. So, and that's the way I see it, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, you do, but like you said, you just get to a point where you have to pick and choose what you can back because you can't back everything. We don't have unlimited wealth. And there are some I look on Indiegogo, and there's some I'm like, that it doesn't pique my interest, but most of the time it does. So, is the Fractured Veil? It's still running, isn't it?
Yes, there's a few more days left on that one, and I'll send you you already got the links. So never mind, because we're on the same thing.
I'm about to bring it up right now. So
yeah,
this is it here. this is the crowdfunding campaign, everybody, for
Fractured
Veil. It's being filmed in the UK. As Phil mentioned, him and myself will be over there for this. Mike Davies is awesome. Unfortunately, he had an accident and he's on disability, but he's doing the best to get this thing made. And again, usually the way these crowdfunders work, as Mahal said, if whatever budget you have in mind, so say you want 20 grand, try and set it for 5 or 10, because the most important thing is to go in demand like this is done.
Yeah.
Because now Aversion's in demand, and people donate, you can still keep getting funds from it. If you don't get it in demand, it closes off, that's it. So obviously they've gone past the target. This is in Australian dollars. I don't know what it is in pounds, but so 44 hours left, and there's still plenty of perks to take on here. You know, see, like here, so 15 British pounds, 31 Australian. So it does get a little bit, how's your mother, sometimes on some.
Yeah. I didn't know the
assistant producer, 50 pounds is 104 Australian. So, you know, they're perks I like to take, but it's kind of, I've got to be selective with what I can, you know?
Yeah, I did not know the exchange rate was that steep for Australia conversion. That's unbelievable. Wow.
Because even the discounted executive producer perks are 100 British pounds, but it's $209 Australian. So
I wonder why it's such. It all comes down to finance there. It's like why poor Australia?
Yeah, that's a 66% discount. It was 620 Australian. So I mean, assistant producer. Director would be awesome, but that's what 500 British pounds, 1,043 Australian. But you know, I'm not telling people not to back it, even if they're here. I'm just letting people know. You know, the cheapest perk you can get is $21, which is the book. $31 is the film download. You know, I can take stuff like that. But definitely jump on. Even if you guys can't support it, definitely jump on and share it, because these guys are doing well. What other ones have you got? The Fractured Veil, isn't it?
Well, I'm doing that trilogy in Ashes to Ashes. I just released Bitter Souls from a good friend. He was my first big movie project. He gave me my shot, a guy named Big Ed McKeever. And he shoots films in Pennsylvania, but he lives down in Florida. Wonderful writer. He does it all. Well, I met him by accident. I was saying something pithy online because The Beast Comes at Midnight was made a few years ago. I said, man, if I was a millionaire, I'd back this movie. Well, Big Ed sent me a text, and he gave this was my shot. We did a minimal investment, but this was through contract. This was before I did any of the Indigo things. And Ed turned into just one of these wonderful friends. And I did another movie, and we're going to do another movie. But anyway, long story short, that was it. And then he asked me to go on. I was like, well, that was our one and done. Well, a year and a half, 2 years later, he calls, hey, man, I'm making another one. Do you want to be on board? I was like, no way. No friggin' way. Talked to my wife. She said, we got it. Do it. Did a contract. So Bitter Souls is out on Netflix now. Wonderful.
Bitter Souls. That name rings a bell.
Bitter Souls, and I'll send you. My computer's right behind me. I'm doing an edit on something, so I can't get off of that. But I'll send you all the information. It's on Amazon Prime now. They're on Amazon Prime. Bitter Souls was just released about 2 months ago.
Michael McKeever.
Yes, that's his son.
Rihanna Rose. Okay.
Yeah, it's a family-friendly horror movie. This one's a little darker than,
Is it on Tubi?
Brother, you got me by the short hairs on that one. I have to look. I know it's on Prime. I think it's on Prime right now, and it may go from there to Tubi. But really, it's a family-friendly horror movie. I mean, it's got some cussing, but in all of Ed's movies, there's no nudity, nothing like that. Your kids can watch this. I mean, it's got frightening scenes, but you'll love it. I guarantee you'll love it. It's one of the best released movies I've had. Was Bitter Souls and The Beast Comes at Midnight. I mean, he put me on the track to what I'm doing today.
Yeah, okay. No, it doesn't look like it's on Tubi at the moment, but and like you were saying about nudity and swearing, so although there's a little bit of blood in Aversion and stuff, I didn't want to make it so it's just a slasher film, and there's a little bit of swearing, but it comes also down to distribution. Some of this is where my editor, he knows all about this stuff. He was saying that some distribution companies won't pick up films if they've got excess swearing in it, or like you said, nudity, things like that. So although there might be a couple of little words here and there, it does limit to where you can get it sent, especially if you're trying to get foreign sales in different countries. So that's why we've not limited on purpose. It's just the way the script was written. There might be a couple of little curse words here and there, but it's not designed to be that sort of like slasher sort of this whatever film, you know. And I try to make the films I do when I get them written up as compact and as minimal as possible, minimal actors, minimal locations, just to try and be budget friendly. And
understand.
I was lucky we were able to secure a couple of Airbnbs for when we did Aversion, and that's really, it was one quick university scene, and that's it. All the rest was shot in 2 locations essentially. So, and 10 days. It was a really quick shoot. I was there for 12 days. We shot in 10 days and it was done.
I like what I saw on Aversion, you know, through your sites and everything. Looks great.
We're going to be uploading some promo photos soon, just screenshots from the edit, just to keep the interest peaked a bit. But there should be a trailer coming soon. It's going to take a bit longer because one of the scenes we filmed was a dining room scene. Both cameras were running in 6K, and it's 3 hours of footage, which the editor has to take about a week to edit just that one scene. So, because every actor's in that scene, so that's why it's taking a little bit longer than normal. But you know, it's because it's filmed in 6K, we're able to actually master it in 4K. So it's going to be shown in 4K. Most of the time here, films are only shown in 2K at the cinemas. So it's going to be a better viewing. And we've actually decided to offer VHS as a perk as well. It's coming back. Yeah, so we've had one lady who took a perk in the film take that. We're only doing them as custom orders. But I'm going to get one myself just for the nostalgia of it. I don't know the quality, how that it would be interesting to see the difference between that and DVD. That's another little option we're putting together. We're just trying a few different things, you know, to see what people are interested in. But it's definitely an industry that I enjoy being in. I don't sleep a lot, so there are some times when I'll be like, even whoever's writing midnight, I'll send them a text. Can we add this into the film? They're like, write it down and message me in the morning when you wake up. So, because it's always running through my head, changing ideas, but it's just something I do. So,
hey, you know what? I'm here for you too. You know, anytime I can help, I can come up with the crazy idea of like, you know, out of nowhere. Usually, this little kid will say something. It's like, what did you just say? That's it. That's what we should be doing. You know.
Yeah.
If you ever have a question, there's no stupid answers. Well, there is stupid answers, but you know. But you know, I'm here for you, man. I'm here for everybody. I really want to help. I do. If I can't be financially or whatever, I tell people, put it on my page. One day I may need you to put something on your page. You know, it's helping. You know, I don't see no one's complaining either. I love sharing their stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, if it's successful, more power to you. If it's not, well, better luck next time. We'll push it harder.
Yeah, that's right. And it's the same if I'm in the States and someone like yourself happens to be making a film, I'm happy just to come and jump on the set and just help out. I like doing. I don't play my drums anymore. I've retired from playing drums and basketball. So the film set is my second family. Like my wife, she's not into going to movies, things like that. So whenever I can get on a film set, it takes away all the stress, and it's just I love being. When I'm not there, I'm a bit depressed, a bit down, because it's hard work. Don't get me wrong. Here we have to wear multiple hats. Like I'll produce, or sometimes I'll run slate, or I'll move lights. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me either way. The film gets made either way. So
Well, I will get with you because I have a partnership with a guy named Richie Greer. We're doing The Curse of Andor. We're filming now. If you've seen any of the behind-the-scenes stuff that I was putting up, I'm supposed to be in California filming it, but we got caught up in Texas doing a bunch of other stuff, and plus my grandson lives in another state, and we're getting ready to see him. So I'm very supportive behind the scenes, but he's a master with doing The Curse of Andor. It started out as Indigo and then turned into a bigger thing where I became an executive producer, contract, and I really wanted to be on the set, but I couldn't not. And every time I see something, oh my God, I want to be there.
Well, actually, it did really well on Indiegogo. I've got it here. So it raised,
yes.
In the equivalent of Australian, the budget was 23,500. They raised over 53,000 Australian. So, is it an actual? It's not a cut. It's not like a anime or anything, is it?
No. It's fantasy.
Oh, just from the like one of those fantasy one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's marvelous. And like I'm saying, you're looking to broaden your horizons. Richie Greer, wonderful. He's like Phil Herman, but he only in California. The guy, I have not met a bad person yet, but that's someone you need to get in touch with. He is someone in the States that will get you around, bro. He really will.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm happy to, because usually if I contact these people, they're like, "Oh, who's this?" But if I say I know yourself or whatever, then they're more open.
Oh yeah, he knows me. He knows.
And I've had a friend that's moved over to the States. She's in, I think it's San Francisco, San Diego, and she's done some stuff in mine, but she's trying to get more roles. So if you know of any whether they're extra roles or whatever that come up that require sort of like a Latino, I'll send you her details, what she looks like, her Latino sort of details. She'd love to do it. She's working on American accent. She's trying to learn a bit of Spanish. I'm not sure exactly where she's from, but she's Australian. She's got the Australian accent, but she's living there now. So
she's a personal friend of yours.
Yeah.
Send her stuff, bro.
Her name's Rena London. She said to me, "Do you know of any films that are being made in the States where I can get on and get some experience?" I said, I'll ask around for you. So,
oh God, I will contact her.
She's not expecting lead roles or anything like that. It's just something where she can keep it going, practice her accent, do whatever needs to be done.
Well, I announce casting anytime there's casting announcements, even these movies that are not mine. All the actors out there, I post them on all my things, threads, you name it. Casting calls. I don't care where you're at in the States, folks. You want to do it? There it is. So I post all the time.
We had a guy that played the Doctor in Aversion. He drove 8 hours to St. Louis just to be in the set on the film. David Jones, his name is, and he played the Doctor, and he loved it. And then he drove home again that night. And that's what I'm saying. A lot that doesn't happen here. People
really.
They either want to be reimbursed or they want a hotel to spend the night. They come home again. It's like if you say we're filming an hour and a half or 2 hours away, they're like, "Oh, how much fuel you paying me? Where are we staying?" It's like, I don't need you for the day, and that's the big difference. And that's kind of why I might sound a bit rude, but when I was making Aversion, I said, "Sorry guys, but I'm now an international filmmaker, and anyone who doesn't want to come on the journey, I'm going to leave you behind." And people are like, "Oh, you're not that good. You've only made one film." I said, "Doesn't matter." I said, "The fact is that you guys are just doing it as a hobby. Not that I'm going to make money,
Right.
But I want to do this because it's what I enjoy, and eventually maybe I can do like Jay Horton, and I just can do it full time or a bit more full time."
Yeah, Jay, he's wonderful.
And like Demetrius, who played the professor, he came with me to the States, and he's happy to be in anything I do because he knows there's a lot of people here that talk the talk, but they definitely don't walk the walk. He's had people where it's gotten to the script stage, and nothing's happened. So. But there's a couple of crowdfunders running here now as well. There's a friend of mine. She's making one about human trafficking. She's making a proof of concept. It's going to be a series. Another friend of mine's making one. He's a bit ambitious, I think, with the crowdfunder for here for 50K. Just from what I've seen, like another friend of mine had 7,000. He was lucky to raise 1,500. So I hope he gets there on his, but I think it's a little bit ambitious. Never know. He might have that unicorn that comes along.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I never wish anyone ill will in this.
No,
I don't do that. Period. That's not my life, because I believe in karma. And when I was younger and stupid, karma was right here.
A bitch. Yeah.
So I mean, when I got, I just, that's just not the way I. Yeah.
No, and you don't need to be like that. It's here, especially here. It's such a small industry. Everyone knows each other. You go to a networking night, and if you've pissed someone off or you've done something, they know. And your name soon becomes mud.
Yeah.
And there are little purple circles. People have their own little purple circles where they don't cast anyone else. But it's just how they are. They like to use the same actors, and that's fair enough. Let them go for it,
Yeah.
Well, I like to give new. Like I've got new people in this short film I've never used before. Even the director never used him before, but I'm willing to give him a go. And
me too. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't really work out, but you're honest. All right, don't send your assistant to tell me. Just say, all right, we tried it. This is just not working. And if it's working, boom. Most of the time it does.
Yeah, that's right. And I prefer to meet people in person, like as much as I can here. If they've got a project they want to, I prefer to meet them in person. Sometimes it has to be self-tape auditions because it just, the logistics of trying to catch up and do face-to-face doesn't work. But, but then you get some people that are just like, they don't put the effort in. So I've sent people scripts for a month before the audition, and they still come in with the script and read it. Whereas some people for the same part, they've come in. It might be policemen, so they've worn a police outfit, but then they change into like the brother, and they've learnt their lines. All right, they might not fit, might have the right look, but they put the effort in. And I'm going to reward them for someone who's not lazy, but just hasn't taken the time with over a month to learn it. For that spot. And I've had other people, I send them the call sheets out and they ring me and go, where are we going? I said, well, have you got the call sheet? They're like, yeah. And it's got the address, the time. And so I make a mental note of all these people, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use that person again unless, I need an extra or I really have to or something like that.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, the older I get, I'm the last of the baby boomers, but I still write everything down. My wife, she's with me. This electronic world, she's on it. Me, I still have the little notepad, and the older I get, you get a little more forgetful. So when you're talking about scripts, I'm starting to doing a lot of voiceover work, and I read it and read it and read it. And then I'm glad I'm not in front of the camera, but I'm learning how to remember the lines. And then I got to just kind of go back to the military. Look, you taught in the military. This stuff is in your head. And I had to use those techniques to keep it in there. Yeah. But it was getting from here to doing what you want me to do. It's a learning curve. It is a learning curve. Learning where your marks are.
Knowing that you do voiceover is good, because I said to Christina for the Cursed, when we do the Indiegogo promo video, I'd like to have a voiceover, whether we use stock footage or whatever. So I'll keep you in mind for that.
Yeah, please.
I think it's good, like the Mahals do. They have some guy do a voiceover, and then they put stock footage or whatever they can. And I think having that voiceover telling a bit of the story is more appealing than just having a video with. You still got to have the producer and that talk on it.
Right.
I think having somebody actually telling us a bit of the story is a bit more appealing than just watching a 2 or 3 minute video.
Well, I got a state of the art, believe it or not. And it took years to put. I put together a studio, sound recording, everything. So I have it all here, and then I do a test, send it to say you, and you go, okay, this is the voice that we're looking for, and I can adjust things. I mean, but I'm here if you need, bro. And since we're all in the same movies, I'll hook you up. You don't have to pay me nothing.
Appreciate it. And if you ever make your way down under, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, same with you here in Texas, man, or anywhere. Have gun, we'll travel. I will go.
Well, the way things are going at the moment, like I said, there's a Bigfoot one. He's got a couple of a sort of small studio that might be interested, but if they don't, he wants us to make that one. Everyone loves a Bigfoot movie. Then the reason we're doing Goldilocks and the Three Bears is because a lot of the nursery rhymes now are in the public domain. So the guys that made Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, they're making what they call the Pooniverse. So they've done that. They've done Bambi. They're doing Pinocchio, Snow White, and one more. And they're putting it all together a bit like Marvel, but calling it the Pooniverse. And I thought, said to Christina, why not do Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but make it into a horror, but go way back, because originally it was an old lady, not a young girl, back in the 1800s, and it was a lot darker than it is now. So I'm just trying to find a writer that I can engage with to come up with the idea and bounce it off some other people like yourselves and that, and see who might be interested in being involved and stuff, because I do want to expand my small studio out. I'm not expecting to have, studio say, here's $1 million. I just, like yourself and Mike, if I can go to the UK and hook up with him and do a co-production, and I'm happy to do that. Or, yourself and obviously.
Well, we're here. When Mike had to go to the doctor today, but I talked to Mike more than I talked to my own family. Because he is, he hurt himself years ago, and and he carries a lot of weight. That guy, he's so into things. And when I teamed up with him, and this was a handshake. There was no signing or nothing. We created it just through the friendship. He's that kind of guy. But I try to take as much weight off of Mike as I can here in the States. And technology has helped us. All right, go to the doctor. I'm over here. I'm taking care of the business today, man. It's cool. Relax. Woosah. Pull on your ears, bro. Relax. Don't take care of yourself.
That's what we said to Mike as well. Like, because Amber's involved in the film as well, and that's how I got involved. He said, "Do you know any crew?" And she hit me up. But we said the same thing to Mike. If you need a hand with anything, even if you want me to print T-shirts or whatever, we're happy to help out, because he was trying to do most of it himself, and you can't in India. You can't do that. You need to help. It's just something you have to do. And as you start getting bigger, like he is, you guys are doing the trilogy, and he's writing books, and sometimes you just need to say, "Oh, look, are you able to do this element, or can you do that element for me?" And there's no shame or harm.
No, there's none. And he's such a and it's not one of the sins, the pride, but he is so used to doing it himself. It's like trying this thing. Like, give me it. I said, I'll take care of it. It's okay, bro. Go do your thing. You need to have a cup of tea. I got this. But I love the guy. I love him like my brother.
Sometimes there are issues come up. I had a couple of short films that I was going to do, but some mental issues come up, and I passed it off to someone else to do. But I was still involved behind the scenes, and sometimes you just have to step back and say, "Okay, I can't do it all."
No, you can't.
Luckily, being able to meet up with great people like yourself and Mike, and that, knowing that, okay, we're not going to chat every day, but if I say, look, Paul, I need an actor, are you able to help me with something like this, like maybe getting an actor, or can you look over the script? At least I know that when you get a chance, obviously you'll be able to do it. And it's not like I'm going to call you every day and say, "Oh, can we do that?" That's not what I'm after. I'm just after somebody that If I'm in the same country, then we can maybe do a co-production, or if I have a script, because what I like to do with scripts is send it to people that don't know much about the film or haven't been involved with it from the conception. Because a lot of the people here that I get involved, they know a lot of this, and send it to them, and they give me the honest feedback and say, "No, I think you should go this direction and do that." Because some of the people here just agree. They're like, "Yeah, no, it's really good," and then
I can't be a yes man, because that would be hurting you. If you're asking my true opinion, I would give it to you in a polite way. But but anything you want. And and the other thing is, we're trusted. I'm very trusted. I started out with those NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements. Now people send them because it's in the vault. I know what it's like to have something pulled from you. But I sign it if someone says, I don't care if I've known you 30 years. Hey, just sign this. Okay. And I'm not insulted. Send it. And I'm not going to say nothing, but if that makes you feel better, whatever. I just like helping, and I will help till I'm gone. Everything good, bro? I think you froze.
There we go. Sorry, I lost the connection for a second there. The weather's not the best here, but no, I had a couple of the Aversion script actually. It got leaked when it wasn't supposed to, and
yeah, I hate that.
So. But anyway, Paul, it's been awesome talking. I'll let you get back to doing what you're doing because I know you're busy.
Yeah, not a problem, man. It was a joy. And let me just say one last thing. Send me whatever, and that girl that's in San Francisco, can't remember, it was just because she's new in my head. Send me whoever. If we have something, I post it and send it. I'm always willing to help out.
Yep. And before we sign off, what advice? So for anybody that's either just wanting to do get involved in a film, whether it's be a producer or just help out, what advice would you have for somebody that's sort of on the fence, I don't know if this is what I want to do, or
The advice that I got when I was growing up and in my military career: crawl, walk, run. If you're wanting to dabble, we don't start off walking and running. Crawl, dip your feet in, see what it's all about. Do your research, because life is upsetting. Sometimes it's great. A lot of this is good, but crawl, walk, run. That's what I go on. That's what I told all my kids. And that's what you live by. All walk run.
Yeah. And I said, just give it a go. I said, come on set if you don't like it.
Yeah.
It's fine. But and a lot of people come on as a PA and they're like, oh, I'm interested in the camera or the sound, and they end up doing that, or something like, no, I don't like doing this. So if you want to, if you're interested, or you just want to contribute to a film and just not have nothing else to do it after that, that's fine. But there's so many different avenues you can go and just give it a go. It's not going to, besides contribute, it's not going to cost you anything. Yeah. And I'm more than willing to have you on a set if you just.
And the sets for indie, the sets for indie are so personable. It's not like you're watching those little behind the scenes movies for big Hollywood. Everyone is so friendly. You have stress, but it's such a wonderful stress. Everyone's helping each other. That's right. So
I try to keep scenes as. My sets as sort of lively and funny. Well, obviously having a bit of a laugh and a joke, but I've been on some. It's like being in a morgue. You can't even say boo, and I don't enjoy them. No. But when it's time to get filming, then we get down to it. But during the breaks, if you want to have a laugh and a joke or whatever, it's fine. Right. You've got to have that. Everyone's out to accomplish the same goal, the same thing, and last thing you want to be doing is walking on eggshells because
God,
no, don't say you can't talk. Yeah. So, all right. I appreciate it, Phil. Sorry, Paul.
All right.
Phil, Paul.
That's all right.
So, I didn't mean...
talking about Phil. It was wonderful being with you. Yeah. I hope to do it again.
And I will share this out. I'll once I've edited it, I'll send it to you and I'll share it out to the places I've got here. And hopefully, like I said to the people here, if you do get a chance to go and film in another country, just go do it. I mean, like I said, the only reason I did it was because I contributed to a crowdfunder. They were then doing a live raffle. I jumped on the raffle. Christina was there, and it snowballed from there. So
yeah. Well, I will.
If you get a chance to do it, give it a go. It's not.
Yeah. Shit. I will see you in February.
6 months.
Yeah.
Just under.
We'll meet finally face to face. We'll meet. Everyone will be together. Shooting the movie.
I think it's going to be just before or just after the 17th because that's Amber's.
Yes,
so
I believe somewhere in there.
And get a script from Mike, and then Ashes to Ashes will be good as well. So for those of you who don't know, it was originally going to be a Crow fan film, but we've had to go away from that idea. So it's going to be a standalone.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I got a big part in that one. Hopefully, I do well.
I think that's why I'm at the gym trying to get in shape because round isn't really a shape. So it's
I understand.
It's yeah. Cool. All right, Phil. Well, I'll end the recording here, but it was great catching up with you.
Yes, sir.
We can have a bit of a chat off air. So
okay.
It's
well, have a good night.
Be recorded.
All right.
Thanks everyone for watching. I am going to try and upload these to Spotify as well. But have you got a YouTube channel?
No, but I need to put one together, and that's on my to-do list.
Yeah. Okay. So check Paul out on Facebook and whatever other links he's got. I'll put all the links to the crowdfunders and that in my channel. I'd like to get to 100 subscribers this month, if I can. So if you guys out there can throw me a subscribe, that'd be awesome. But yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next episode.